Season 8, the final season of Outlander, brought with it not only epic scenes but also countless mixed emotions. From the tears of farewell to the suspense of the finale, none other than Heughan and Caitriona Balfe, the two soulful characters of the series, truly felt every last breath of this journey. However, in an exclusive chat with Cinematic Horizon magazine, Sam and Caitriona revealed for the first time what they called their worst experience on set, an event that neither of them could forget no matter how hard they tried. The interview was conducted in a quiet studio in London, where both actors were in the final promotional period for the season. Despite the lighthearted setting, when the question about unpleasant memories during filming was raised, the atmosphere suddenly became solemn. Caitriona takes a sip of tea and smiles slightly, a smile that carries a trace of hesitation. "We've been through a lot of awkward situations, but there was one day in particular that still gives me goosebumps when I think about it." Sam sits up straight, turns to look at Caitriona, and agrees wholeheartedly. "You're talking about the forest scene in episode 5, right?" "That's it," Caitriona nods. "It all started with a day of filming in the Scottish Highlands, where the crew set up a battle scene between a group of settlers and a group of natives. Sam and Caitriona were scheduled to shoot a 5-minute chase scene through the forest, a crucial scene that marked the climax of the script's tension. The weather was a nightmare," Caitriona says. "The rain was pouring down, the temperature was almost 4 degrees, and the wind was so strong that trees were uprooted. But what really made things worse wasn't just the weather, but an unforeseen incident, a seemingly harmless fall that nearly left Sam seriously injured. As I was running down the muddy rocky slope, my high-top boots slipped. I lost my balance and fell, almost hitting my head on a large rock below," Sam recalls. "There was no stunt double, and everyone thought it was real, so no one rushed in even when I lay motionless for a few seconds. Caitriona was the first to notice something was wrong. I was running and screaming his name. I could hear the wind in my ears, the director shouting, 'Go,' but inside I had this strange feeling of unease. When I saw Sam lying there, eyes closed and hands unresponsive, my heart almost stopped. Fortunately, within minutes, Sam regained consciousness. An emergency medical team was called. The initial diagnosis: a mild concussion and bruising to his right shoulder. It wasn't just the physical pain that was bad," Sam said slowly. "It was the feeling of helplessness. Me, the one who was always in control, always protecting my co-stars and the crew, and I made the whole crew worry because of a moment of carelessness." Caitriona put her hand on his, her eyes softening. "You're not Superman. And that day, I didn't need you to protect me. I just needed you to be safe." The incident delayed filming for 2 days. The scene was eventually completed, but with a stunt team and a lot of technical tricks. "When I watched the rough cut, I was really speechless," Caitriona said. "Not because of the fall. Because of the moment when I ran to him, it wasn't in the script. But the director kept it because it was so real." Sam added, half joking, half seriously, "The first time Jamie got yelled at by Claire on camera, and it wasn't an act." They both laughed, but this time it was something deeper: empathy, connection, and a memory that only they could understand. "I think the worst experience turned out to be one of the most memorable," Caitriona said. "Because it reminded us that no matter what the main character or star is, we're still human, vulnerable, and we need to be cared for." As we wrapped up the conversation, the interviewer asked one last question. "If you could go back to that day, what would you do differently?" Caitriona paused, then shook her head. "I would still run to him, still scream, still worry. Because that's me, and that's what Claire would do." Sam smiled, his eyes warmer than ever. "And I'll still fall, if it makes me realize how lucky I am to have Caitriona by my side." Farewell to the crew. When goodbyes bring tears and camaraderie. After the memorable incident in episode 5, the atmosphere on the set of season 8 seemed to drop. Not because of pressure or fatigue, but because of something hard to put into words. The end was near. The last day of filming came on a foggy morning in Glencoe, which has witnessed many historic moments of Outlander. In the final scene, Jamie and Claire stood together, looking out at the horizon, a symbol of what they had overcome, and what lay ahead. When the director shouted, "Cut, done," the whole set burst into applause, not for the scene, but for the journey of 12 long years. There were silent tears falling, there were hugs that didn't want to let go, and there were red eyes looking at each other one last time as if they couldn't believe this was real. Sam walked to the center of the set, a glass of traditional Scotch whiskey in hand, his eyes shining with emotion. "We've told a timeless story, not just about love, but about loyalty, forgiveness, and sacrifice. Thank you for being with me all this time." Caitriona stepped forward, took his hand, her voice trembling slightly but determined. "And I can't imagine this journey without Sam. No one else would be Jamie. No one else could have walked with me, picked me up, made me laugh when I fell." The applause lasted for nearly a minute. But then, like all beautiful things, the moment had to end. Behind the scenes after the final scene, a place without cameras is still filled with emotion. After everyone gradually left, Sam and Caitriona quietly stayed on set for a while longer. No one said anything, only the sound of the wind blowing through the pine trees and the soft echo of each footstep on the cold ground. "Do you remember the first time we came here?" Caitriona asked, gently stroking the moss off an old rock. "I do," Sam nodded. "Claire saw Jamie in his red uniform for the first time. And I was cold, not used to the climate. I covered you with my cloak." Caitriona smiled. "Although the script says we shouldn't have been that close." "I didn't follow the script," Sam smiled, his eyes twinkling with familiar mischief. "I followed my heart." There was a long pause, but it wasn't awkward. It was like two best friends who had been through everything. They didn't need to say anything more to understand each other. Then Sam suddenly pulled a small wooden box from his pocket, carved with aster flowers. The flower that symbolizes unforgettable memories. "I've had this since the first season. It was a prop in Jamie's room, do you remember?" Caitriona opened the box, and inside was a piece of old lace, the first behind-the-scenes photo of the two of them together, and a silver ring modeled after Claire's wedding ring. She choked up. "You kept all this?" "Yes," Sam said softly. "Because I knew we would have to leave Outlander one day." "But the memories, never." Caitriona didn't answer. She just walked over and hugged him tightly, not as Claire or Jamie, but as Caitriona hugging Sam, as a final thank you for an unforgettable journey. As the two of them walked off the set for the last time, their shadows stretched across the old ground, not the end, but the beginning of the next chapter of friendship, companionship, and an era that had become legendary. The last train out of the Highlands. That evening, the crew held a small party at the old inn nestled in the valley. There were no spotlights, no reporters or media, just people who had been through it together, sitting together like a family. Sam poured everyone a drink, and Caitriona softly sang an Irish folk song, a song she had improvised during a shoot in 2016. Everyone sang along, each word engraved in their hearts. "When tomorrow comes, we will all go our separate ways," Sam said, standing in the middle of the candlelit room. "But this place, these memories, will always be our compass when we lose our way." Caitriona took his hand, not acting this time. "And Jamie will always be Jamie. Claire will always be Claire. But most importantly, you and I, we will still be ourselves, regardless of time or space." Outside, the night mist falls gently. Inside, smiles and tears mix. The next day, they board the last train out of the Highlands. The scenery passes by the window, but what remains is not the land, but love, sacrifice and a chapter of life that cannot be repeated. Outlander ends, but the friendship of Sam and Caitriona will resonate forever in the hearts of fans.